Oh, welcome to Blues to Do TV. Thank you, Lisa K. Dieter, for that theme song from decades ago now. We used to do the show up at 98th and Aurora, and then they moved us around and kind of got derailed. But we're back. It is at the Seattle Drum School now, every Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, even if there's a game going on. We're here, and then you can watch it later or listen later. We do have free coffee and treats for our live audience. Today, we have a special guest. Steve Bailey is here, and we are at 1010 South Bailey Street here at the Seattle Drum School. What a fun coincidence. Anyway, every Sunday at 1, we have a lot of fun. Christian Sadler, my engineer, doing all the knobs, and we're at youtube.com/blues to do, or just search for the Seattle Drum School, and you can find our YouTube channel. A lot of history there. I've been interviewing people since September of last year, and got an archive now that we're working on putting on the new website. I want to thank Amy for the red hat beret. She gave me an extra one. I had one, but this one's pretty bright, so I thought I'd wear it on the show. And my buddy Amy Watson, thank you, dear. She used to be on my crew up there at 98th and Aurora, as a matter of fact. I'm trying to convince her to be on it again. But anyway, so Steve Bailey, vocalist, guitarist, harmonica player first, I should say, songwriter, band leader, and a member of the the one and only Isaac Scott Band at one time for about 7 years. Last week I had John Stefan. Similar story.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised because I didn't really plan that, but back-to-back guests both had Isaac Scott mentions. Now, I didn't really say much about Isaac, but he was legendary. He moved from Arkansas to Oregon and then up from Oregon after he learned from Norman Sylvester some of the gospel stuff. I understand his story. Maybe I don't know everything, but and then he came to Seattle, and Septimus, the Coleman Brown and Herman Brown, they taught him about the blues. So he became our premier, I mean, our main guy, blues guy, and didn't smile much. I noticed that right away. I had to coax him to smile, and I always felt, wow, I made him smile. That was a big accomplishment. He always had a frown on, but he could play like Albert Collins. He could take a solo, and it would last, half an hour or so.
Albert tried to talk him into leaving town and being in his band touring with him and stuff, and he wouldn't.
I can believe
he
it.
Wouldn't do it.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway, so we got stories, and we're going to get those on the show today. So I didn't really mention much about Isaac Scott last week. We'll get that in, but it is about Steve Bailey this week, and he has helped to put Seattle blues on the map as well, and really an integral part of the scene. So we'll get in. Thanks for tuning in, whether it's Facebook or YouTube after the fact, or IG, they call it, Instagram. We also have a Venmo account now, so please send your money. It does take money to put this together these days, but we appreciate your support, and we're going to continue either way. I am a determined person looking for new sponsors, but we do have Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. I want to give a big thank you out to Mitch. I've been selling that sauce. It's very popular. I'm out, so I'm about to get more this week. For our next event, which is the 21st of April, it's on the calendar. It's the All-Star Women Jam session. We have so much fun. We do it after the podcast, so it kind of takes all Sunday afternoon. But the next one, women are planning for this one. I think the women are excited about playing together, so getting fun. Let's see. Did you? Oh yeah, there's the poster. Thank you. Sunday, April 21st, 1 o'clock. All right, Christian's on it. Thank you, dude. All right, we are broadcasting on Duwamish land in Seattle's Georgetown area. I don't usually say dude. I don't know why I said that. From the lab, LAB, the little auditorium in the back at 1010 South Bailey. At the Seattle Drum School of Music. They teach everything here, not just drums, piano, ukulele, anything, and pretty much anything, almost every instrument. We recognize the Duwamish people and the tribe and thank them for taking care of this land for generations. We'll get that rent party together eventually. All right, so blues prevention. Did I do all the Dalai Lama? Oh no, we got 3 more, don't we? 3 more, and then we're done with this list. I had to do the Dalai Lama. Little pieces of wisdom is what I like to. We call it blues prevention. You know, just kind of, I've been around a couple decades, so I might as well share what I know. And one of my friends said, can you text me a picture of that one thing? And I said, sure. And I thought, well, I might as well do that every week on my show. So we'll get that done. Also do a Royal Room bathroom review. Check that out. And a blues calendar at the end after we talk to Steve. So our 3 wisdoms, the last of the list, I went from the bottom to the top. I'm not sure why. Go figure. Follow the 3 R's. Respect for self, respect for others, makes sense, and responsibility for all your actions. Ooh, that's profound. Okay, that feeds right into news headlines there. Okay, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. I kind of took that in after we had Jeza Duhan on our show, and she just wrote a song called Take the L, Take the Lesson. I thought it was about a train, but it's about the lesson. So yeah, don't lose the lesson when you lose. And then finally, take into account that great love and great achievements involve great risk. Amen. I like that one. I think that sometimes we get a little afraid to take a risk, but if you want the good stuff, you got to take a risk, and that's why we live in America. That's what we have the freedom of choice to do.
Good stuff.
To take that risk. So anyway, we'll get that bathroom review, and then we'll get into a conversation with Steve Bailey. Let's see. What do we got? The Royal Room. 2 stalls, 2 sinks. Are we there? Yeah, there we are. I go into women's rooms on a regular basis at live music venues. So this is the review, and this will be on my new website. 2 stalls, 2 sinks, modernized. They just did a remodel. I noticed improvements. There's a nice, pleasant, clean scent. I think the ventilation got worked. A new paint job. It's clean, especially as one of the most active spaces in Seattle for diverse and reliably tasteful music, live music there at the Royal Room. They've been doing that for a number of years now. We haven't lost every live music room, just a couple, just a few, and we're getting new ones. So anyway, the Royal Room's still here, still kicking. I had a great time at Reese Tanimura's. She's presenting the Women in Blues series, and it's awesome. The next one is going to be April 18th. Looking forward to that one. So they're doing like pretty much monthly, and they focus on certain artists like Memphis Minnie, Etta James, Bonnie Raitt. So they'll have local women do great songs from these women. So looking forward to more of that. All right. Our guest, Steve Bailey, been around for a number of years, a veteran in the blues scene. I remember seeing Stevie and the Blue Flames, but before that, you were with Isaac Scott, right? I mean, did you start your own band after Isaac? Is that kind of
I actually had my band before that.
I wonder.
And then what would happen is I'd play with Isaac for a couple of years. And then John Stefan would kind of take over for a while. Dick Powell would take over for a little while.
Okay.
It wasn't always smooth sailing with Isaac. So, but I loved playing with them. I learned so much. I got to know Albert Collins well through Isaac, and I think part of it was. It was tough for him to play places where they didn't really appreciate what he could do, and that's what happens when you're so far from the roots of the blues of the South, and things just happen that way. But he's a very sensitive guy, and it would kind of rub off on the other people around him sometimes. Mm-hmm. But we'd all go back, and I'd play with him, and then Dick Powell would take over for a while, and John.
Mm-hmm. Everybody had a role.
Yeah.
I mean, you play in Isaac's band, and you have a job, whatever it is, besides playing your instrument,
yeah.
to give support.
One great thing about the era most of the time is that we had, if we played at Larry's in Pioneer Square, it'd be Tuesday through Saturday.
Right.
And I missed that a lot. Just leave your gear there.
Right.
Come and plug in the next night, and it was a different deal.
Yeah, we had those kind of gigs back in the day when Seattle was defined as a music town.
And of course, Isaac's health was spiraling down for years, and it made it really tough. Yeah,
people had to do the wheelchair thing and get on stage, get him up on stage. Sometimes it was more difficult than others, depending on where they played the central, notoriously steep stage stairs. Not just harmonica, but slide guitar. You started with harmonica. Tell us your first harmonica story. Give us some history.
What happened to me was that this was in, I was just out of high school, 1969, 1970, the incredible lineup of blues artists that came through Seattle. It was unbelievable. I sat 6 feet away from Sonny Terry,
Wow.
and I heard him. The first show I ever went to was Sun House,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I was in tears of this emotional. I didn't even know what was happening to me because I didn't know that much about blues.
Wow.
But it just affected me so much. And who came through town but Johnny Shines, Fred McDowell, the Folklore Society brought a lot of people through. But I got to see really high level harmonica playing, slide guitar playing, and that's what rubbed off on me and got me going in the different instruments.
And there are not many band leaders that say, we're just a blues band. We're not a pop band. We don't do any, Mustang Sally even. Right?
Yeah.
You don't do Mustang Sally. I saw that in your bio.
Oh, yeah.
You prefer not to do mine. I appreciate that as a consumer who's heard it 2,000 too many times.
Yeah.
So, very interesting. So that you really were a product of Seattle music because the scene was so happening that a lot of people came here to play
Yeah.
that were
And
icons.
what happened a few years after that was my roommate was Dick Sherman, who is still involved with Delmark Records, and he's a very a really amazing person. He managed Johnny Winter. He actually became Magic Sam's manager weeks before he died. An amazing person
from
And
the
so-
Seattle area. I got to interview him on my show back.
Yeah. And Dick and I lived together in a house in North Seattle.
A great writer
And,
too. Yeah.
And who stayed with us was, Willie Dixon stayed in the hotel, but his band stayed with us. So Carrie Bell was sitting in my living room playing harmonica. So was, I had the cream of the crop coming through town. Johnny Littlejohn's band, Little Mac, and they, a lot of times these were Chicago musicians that had never been here before, and it really rubbed off on me. And I think one thing that is really important is that you hear really high level playing and sort of shoot for that.
Sure.
Because sometimes you see that a friend of mine, for example, that lives in Alaska, he sounded the same to me from 30 years ago.
Okay.
He's playing the same licks, kind of.
Right.
And I think it has to do with the fact that there's nobody there that challenges him to raise his game.
Sure.
And I knew very early where I wanted to go. I'm not saying I got there very fast or anything, but when I heard when Carrie Bell played here and Willie Dixon was keeping the band very sober, I'd never heard Carrie Bell play that well. And this was like 3 nights in a row. I got to hear him do that.
Wow.
And so I really realized what you can really
Sure.
aspire to.
Sure. That rubbed off.
Yeah.
Totally. And to see that and feel it, not just listen to a record.
And
that you got to see.
After Dick moved to Chicago, he would send me in the mail a 3-hour recording of Howlin' Wolf at Pepper's Lounge, and I still have these tapes, and he would go places that that I would be too shy to present this to people, but he would say, I have a tape recorder, I want to record you guys. So I guess Wolf would just say, go ahead.
Right. He was
But
trusted.
I never thought of any of that. I had John Lee Hooker stay in my house for a week. I never thought once about turning it on. I had a tape recorder, but I never turned it on.
Right.
And I never recorded. But Dick he recorded everything, and very interesting, very interesting. And to this day, he's still producing
Right.
for Alligator and Delmark and so on.
Do you stay in touch with him?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool.
Oh yeah. He and I are best friends.
All right. I have an archive
So-
show interviewing him. I should have talked to you before I interviewed him. I probably would have had better questions.
Yeah.
Wow. See, you impressed me already, and now you're telling me even more. So you have won best band, best harmonica, and you got put in the Hall of Fame
Hall
from
of
the
Fame,
Blues
yeah.
Society. What,
Band.
2016? Like
That sounds about right.
almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're rising to the final chapter, and we're going to talk more about your plans. You have a fun new band. I just saw you at the Salmon Bay Eagles, so we're going to talk about that. You are at stevieandtheblueflames.com. If people want to listen to your music or buy stuff eventually, it'll be at that QR code right there. Stevie and the Blue Flames, all spelled out, .com will get you to Steve Bailey's website. 74-year-old, I'm gonna think on you. 74 years old, and
That's okay.
that trademark intensity has not left. Maybe a little slower, but not man. You play the slow songs even with intensity.
I'm not breaking harmonicas anymore, but I'm still bending them pretty good. I
Oh
think.
yeah, bending those notes. It's a thrill to have you here. We're going to talk about his new record coming out. It's called Destination Blues, and the songs. We're going to talk about the songs and get another story. I want to hear about Charles White, but let's give a shout out to my sponsor, Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. And where's that music? I love that music. There it is.
Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce. Well, the sauce boss says you've tried the rest. Well, you'll be back, 'cause this one's best. Mitch's Best Buffalo Sauce.
Let me know later when that earworm has tired out, because I'm sure later you'll be humming that. I just know I do anyway every Sunday afternoon. With just the right heat and just the right bite, this rich and creamy sauce made with all real butter tastes great on everything except dessert. Handmade in small batches, it's made like a gourmet French sauce. Tastes great on any chicken dish, including wings. It's also great on any seafood, roasted vegetables, and many other foods. I like avocados myself, and mac and cheese. Available, and a few others. Available locally at QFC, Metropolitan Markets, Hagen Markets, and most fine meat shops in the Puget Sound area. Order directly from Chef Mitch, the sauce boss, at mitchesfoods.com. I saw some of his sauce the other day in a QFC, and he also said, that meat shop in White Center where the big art cow is out front, that place has it too. So yes, he told me that they have it there as well. So yes, thank you very much, Mitch, for your support of the Blues to Do podcast. Sure appreciate you. And we appreciate the Seattle Drum School as well. If you want to play here, they got a grand piano and a drum kit and all the backline set up, all the sound system and the lights. You just have to pay the engineer and rent the room, and it's really accessible. There's only a couple stairs out front, and there's none out back. So you can get here. You can have a private party. You can do a CD release party, an intimate performance space, however you want to use it, baby shower, whatever. This is the last Sunday of the month. The second Sunday of the month, so in a couple weeks, they do the Mo Jam Youth Sessions, 3 p.m. in the afternoon. All kinds of young people get up here and show their stuff. So it's really exciting to see young people blossoming in their musical world. So Mo Jam, doing the Nectar every Monday, brings it for the kids on the second Sunday at 3 p.m. And if you want to be part of that, just take a lesson here. Then you can get dialed into the whole schedule. All right, so thank you again for being here, Steve. It's a Sunday, and you could be sleeping in. So you play regularly now with your new band. Tell me about your new band.
Yeah,
you got regular gigs happening.
Yeah, we've got Ray Hartman on bass, and Ray's been around town in various bands. He played with Dick Powell, and I like the band name he had with the Hardly Everly Brothers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good
with
one.
Ray, and then Tom Williams on drums.
That's who that was.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Tom. And then Steve Blood on guitar.
Been seeing him for decades. Great guitar soloist, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
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 You play rhythm and slide.
Yeah. And then, and it's, recently we added Dee Smith to the band. And Dee is from Gainesville, Florida, a really sweet person, and I'm really impressed with what she's done.
Cool.
She's already, the last gig we played a few weeks ago, she's already got a little bit more power to her singing and stuff, and she's pretty new to but I'm really excited about the material that she chooses.
I saw
really,
some of that.
Really
yeah.
good quality.
Right.
She does a few Etta James songs, but mostly obscure stuff.
Cool.
And of course, I hadn't heard the Etta James soul stuff myself, so that was new to me too. I've heard it maybe a little bit, but
Yeah.
and I actually have the recordings, but she you know, I have collected blues for so long. It's not very often that somebody turns me on to really good new stuff.
Something that's in your own library,
you know.
right?
So, really, and she's helped us get some gigs lately, and a real positive person to be around, which is really great.
Yeah, I enjoyed meeting her. A tall drink of water, and she stood up there and sang, "Give me back my wig," and I was like, "Wow!" Blew me away. So you don't hear that kind of stuff.
Well, we just did a soul shake for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Soul shake,
and it just really was good.
Cool.
Yeah, really good.
So
that's the first. We're starting to do songs where we sing together.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I love harmonies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something we all can't do at home alone. So now her real name is Darnisha
yeah.
D. Smith, and she joined you recently. She brings material from Junior Kimbrough, which also brings a younger demographic, but the older peeps like the Magic Sam. And tell me, she does some weekly dance lessons? Is that how that's what I was reading in your... But anyway, we got to get her on the show. This is your show.
yeah. There's a place on Capitol Hill that we played a couple times for the dancers.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, she's quite a dancer.
Well, that makes the blues gigs fun because you get to
Yeah.
watch the dancers. If you don't dance yourself, you get to watch the cool dancing. So now, you retired recently from your day job?
Oh, no, I've been retired for over 12 years.
Over 12
Yeah.
years. Oh, so this
Yeah.
is now your focus.
Yeah.
Destination Blues, your new CD. Tell me about the songs. And is Dee on there too with you? Is she part of the
No.
recording? No, okay.
No, although I just recorded Dee a little bit in my studios, it's a limited studio, but
Nice.
But there's one of her songs on our website now.
Tell me about Destination Blues. What songs you got on
Yeah,
there?
so I have 10 originals and one cover, which was Stranger Blues, Elmore James version.
I love that, yeah.
And I'm really proud of this one. What I've done in the past is I would record stuff, and I go like, it's good enough, and put it out. Well, with this one, Richard Newman, my friend and producer, he has a really good ear. Between the two of us, we just decided that we're not going to release it till we're happy with every song. So this is a 2-year project.
Wow.
I've never done this before.
Okay. Real perfectionist.
And,
yeah.
And so sometimes I listen to a slide solo for a few weeks and then just decide to do it over. Even though it was fine to begin with, but we're kind of reaching for
Bring
what
up your
we
game.
can get. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and Richard's a really, really amazing guitar player. So, and it was an interesting project to begin with because I had people in mind that I was going to hire to play on it, not just my band, but I thought this song is perfect for so and so. Well, so-and-so came over completely unprepared, and so I spent a long time trying to it's a little more arranged sometimes than some of the stuff I do. I think they were expecting to just jam on it, and so it took us a while to get going, but I'm really happy with it.
Oh, that's most important,
yeah.
that you're really happy with it.
Yeah, and once again, it's all original tunes, and a few of them. One of the songs is called "Let Me Go," and I got this one. You know, when you're writing songs and you hear something that just hits you, and well, I was on jury duty, and this entire song is all what was spoken by the defendant in this. I was on jury duty. This guy was drunk, and he hit a girl on the sidewalk, and she was there in a wheelchair. It's awful to see, but but he was convinced he could. He didn't have a attorney, but he kept saying things like, you know, may lightning strike me here if I'm lying. I didn't do it, and you can find the guy that did it if you really start trying. And I went, wait a minute. You can find it lying and trying, and so that's it. I'm on the jury panel making a few notes during the time that he's talking his way into a 5-year prison sentence, and so everything on that song was something he said. He said, you know, I was shooting pool at 501. There was a pool hall downtown, and I got friends out in the hall. They're going to testify that I was out the pool hall at that time. So he ran over and opened the door. There's nobody there. It was just amazing. But so that song,
what's it called?
It's called "Let Me Go."
Okay.
Let me go. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Those people saw. If you let me go, I'll never break the law.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All
Did you
these
send
things.
It to her?
What's that?
You should send it to the woman in the wheelchair.
Well,
it might be very healing. For
this
her.
is a long time ago, so yeah.
Still find her.
But yeah, I was in the mood to just break out hysterical laughter, and I'm on the jury panel, so I was there trying to keep a straight face while this guy, he was just digging the biggest hole. He was just, and the poor girl had to say, he did it. This is the guy that did it. He just got a haircut. Right. She's like 8 years old. Wow. Something, you know, and to put her through that and stuff
8?
like that. I think she was 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, put her through that and everything. But the song, I'm really proud of the song.
Right.
We just put our project on Spotify. You can hear it for, you know. We hope to sell you a copy eventually, but it's for free on Spotify right now. But we've got a promotional person in Pennsylvania heard about us, so he's helping us promote it. That's the song he picked. I know he goes, I know exactly who's going to play that song on the radio for you. Wow. I'm going to present that for you.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah, but so there's some good, you know, just regular songwriting, and then there's stuff I'm really proud of that, you know.
Yeah, based on the truth. Truth. That's the stuff that really gets you sometimes.
Yeah, you'll like my Talk is Cheap song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
Well, you know, somebody, you know, what happens is, you know, you're someplace and people are telling you what they think about things, and then they're admitting that they're, you know, running around with somebody else's wife or something like that. So it's talk is cheap, don't tell me what to do. Yeah, that's what the song's about.
Oh, good.
You know.
I like that.
I get, you know, for all the hypocrites, we got that one on there.
Mm-hmm. Get a little sassy in your lyrics, huh? If you really read deep, you read between the lines.
Well, I changed it from shut the blank up to shut the hell up when we recorded it.
Nice.
So,
yeah, you got to keep it a little, above so you get airplay. Okay, let me do this brief calendar. I want to ask you, though, about Colombia, London, and Madrid. You have been traveling the world playing the blues.
Yeah, I slowed down in the pandemic, but right before the pandemic, I was going to extended trips.
30 days, 30 gigs in Madrid?
Yeah.
Where there's no phones during the gigs?
I met Tonki de la Peña in South America when I was playing in the Cali Blues Festival. And we were traveling together in a big bus with playing in different cities in Colombia, and we got to know each other really well. And so I decided to go play with him in Madrid, and he said, "How much do you want to play?" And I said, "I want to play every possible night." So he goes, "Great." So I didn't realize he actually booked us 30 gigs and 30 nights in Madrid, and. It's really an experience. So when I was done with that, I went to London to play with my friend Mississippi McDonald, and the very next day after the 30 days in Madrid, we recorded my tribute to Sonny Boy, and I did the whole album in one day. Wow! All the vocals, all the harmonica, and he put a few guitar tracks on it, but we did the whole song because I was ready to play. I mean, I don't play as much as I'd like to, but when I was playing every day, I started to feel like I can do this. Right. Let's just go. And So I did my Tribute to Sonny Boy album in London.
Cool.
Right after that.
Yeah, great time to record.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're feeling warmed up.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get the story about Charles White. Tell me that quickly, and then I'll get my calendar.
Oh boy. Well, Charles was, he was singing with my band in Larry's before he started his own band.
Okay.
And he came up to me one night and he goes, you haven't met my 2 wives. I got 2 wives. And I got me a common law wife and a paper wife. And I go, what are you talking about? So he explained to me, he said, listen, Steve, in Texas, when you live with a woman for 4 or 5 years, she becomes your wife. So they're both here with me now. And you should come over. He goes, I'm having a fish fry. And I said, I'm going to go fishing. And he goes, I went down to the Duwamish yesterday, and I caught me a whole mess of fish. And I said, Charles, you can't eat that fish. That's a super fun sight down there. He goes, I don't know what that is, but it's good eating fish. And so I go, Charles, now wait a minute. I'm sorry, man. I can't eat. He said, let me explain something to you. And I go, okay. He said, you heard of the tides? Yeah, I know what the tides are. Well, all right. And he goes, listen to me. Every day, Steve, the tide swooshes in, and the same afternoon, they swooshes on out all the way to Alaska. So it's good eating fish.
Okay.
Because it swooshes on in and swooshes on out.
That's the science.
And all that pollution's in Alaska. By
Heavy
tomorrow
metals.
afternoon.
Right. Right.
No, I love Charles. When we used to play a lot in Eastern Washington, Idaho, Montana, with Stevie and the Blue Flames at that time. We'd travel, and we took Charles with us, and he would just talk to us the whole trip. I mean, he never stopped talking about. He'd tell us all the stories about trying to survive in Texas and.
Did you record any of
all
that?
these things and
get your cassette recorder out?
I wish.
Oh, right.
I wish, but I love the man. I have a picture of him smiling in my studio, and if I start feeling sorry for myself, I just look at that picture because Charles is a really, really amazing person.
Yes, yes. A lot of people loved him.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday down at at Larry's, he gathered his community. Yeah, yeah. We were all part of that community. And that's where you find community in the blues world is showing up to the jams every week, which I do. Usually this calendar, I'm just going to hit the highlights, though. April 6th, look for Tony Williams and Stone Sharp. I think they're calling it that. The band is funky, put it that way, at the Flight Path, Boulevard Park, Burien White Center, wherever that is, somewhere over there. April 6th, Tony Williams, drummer. I'm at the drum school. Might as well mention a drummer first. The Musicians Relief Fund benefit show on April 7th features C.D. Woodbury, the trio, the Chris Eager trio, and Donna Ray at the historic Everett Theater in Everett. Again, April 7th for that show. There's more, but I'm going to mention the Women in Blues show April 18th at the Royal Room in Columbia City. On the 21st, we'll be here for the All-Star Women Jam after the show, right here at the Lab, 1010 South Bailey at the Seattle Drum School in Georgetown. Look for Carrie Marin and Ghost Dog on the 24th at the Tractor in Ballard. And I did review their bathroom this week, so I will be featuring that on future weeks. Bathroom reviews every week here on the Blues to Do podcast. Sunbanks happens the 16th through the 19th of May. Cedric, or is it Cedric? I think it's Cedric Burnside. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. He does the Hill Country Blues like his grandpa did. Hill Country Love Tour is what this is. He'll be playing a few cities, not Seattle yet, but we're hoping to get him booked here. Wicket Hall in Victoria, BC is the first mention I heard on the 26th, but he's got a few other dates. On the 27th of May and the 28th of May, Tedeschi Trucks, the Deuces Wild Tour at the Paramount Theater in Seattle. And then in June, Remlinger Farms is presenting Parliament, Funkadelic, George Clinton, Dumpsta Funk, probably their final tour. We'll see. And Robert Cray opens for the Doobie Brothers all summer long. That'll be in Auburn at the White River Amphitheater June 15th. And the Waterfront Blues Festival in Portland, the 4th through the 7th of July. Winthrop, the 19th through the 21st of July. And there's more. All right. Acoustic Blues in Port Townsend, always my favorite. July 29. They start early this year. July 29 through August 4th. And I'll feature more in future weeks. Next week, I'll find a new piece of wisdom to share with you. Not any more Dalai Lama. We've had enough Dalai for a while. My brother actually has a great story about the Dalai. He made the Dalai Lama laugh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you're famous for one reason, too, and he's famous for that. Anyway, yeah, that's a fun story. All right, this has been the Blues to Do podcast, and I want to mention again, thanks to Christian Sadler for being my engineer, and for KZ for helping always here at the Seattle Drum School, whatever project is going on. We do this live streaming, but we also save it, archive it, so the YouTube channel has it, and so does the Seattle Drum School, and you can find it soon at blues2do.org. We're getting there. It is real music, real people, real stories. Thank you, Steve. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
When your record comes out.
Right.
All right. See you next week.